You know why? Because every time they bury someone 6 feet deep, and the ground gets saturated, it rain a lot. Guess what the casket will do?
Right.
Pop up.
Yeah.
Sometimes 10 feet in the air. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And that's when New Orleans got its first reputation of people coming back from the dead.
Ooh.
And it stuck with us. I'm talking about the 1700s. At that
Wow.
point, we started burying people above them. Y'all heard that, right? Y'all know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So, out of 42 cemeteries, 40 of them are partially above ground and above ground. So, yeah. And then we're going into cities of the dead. Ready?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to start off. We're going to talk about New Orleans being an entry point during the transatlantic slave trade. We're going to talk about a couple of traditions. Like, it used to be a French city. In the beginning, French colonized New Orleans. The Indians were here first. The French took over. Spain took it from the French. And then the French took it back over in 1801. And the French sold it to Thomas Jefferson. And that deal was known as the Louisiana
Purchase.
And that's, in the beginning, that's how it was. Now, by New Orleans being an entry point, the slaves, people came from Africa and they was enslaved. In New Orleans is an entry point. 31 states have access to the Mississippi River, perfect location. So on Sunday, New Orleans was a little different because they had to honor the Catholic law. This was a Catholic city. Everybody, it wasn't a separation from church and state. So everything was based on Catholicism. And one of the laws stated that everybody had to honor the Sabbath. Nobody worked, including slaves. So guess what they would do? They would go to this place on the left called Congo Square every Sunday. It would look like this in New Orleans.
Wow.
Now you had different tribes. You had the Wolof, the Mandinka, the Igbo, the Fun people, the Bambara, just to name a few of the tribes. Kaligichi. These people didn't speak the same language. They didn't share the same custom. You know, Africa's a large continent.
Yes.
So they learned how to communicate by way of drumming. Now, the ones that lived north of the Niger River, they brought their spiritual practice to New Orleans. It was called Voodoo. Now, Voodoo, the word Voodoo is a front word. It means spirit. That's all it means. Later on, that word Voodoo got bobbled up somewhere down the line and became known as Voodoo. But if you got caught practicing voodoo, the penalty was death. But it was preserved. It was preserved so much that 20% of the people in New Orleans still practice voodoo, directly or indirectly. Even to this day. You ever seen a New Orleans funeral before?
On TV.
Yes. So it's a ritual. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm liking this story. Yeah, talk about it later. Right. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
So, now, we all know, So, voodoo over the years been demonized, right? I mean, even me growing up in New Orleans, even Jay, we was told that, don't.
It's spooky.
Yeah. My mom used to tell me, don't go in Algiers to date girls because they gonna put the voodoo on me. Stuff like that.
Simply, voodoo means spirit.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is sacred in the Voodoo culture. You know, the sun is sacred, the moon is sacred, stars are sacred, body of water is sacred.
Sacred, yeah.
Most important, those trees that's in Congo Square is very, very sacred.
Yes.
In the Voodoo culture, ancestor trees is everything, and they believe ancestors can start everything and stop everything.
Now, if you look to the left, if you look to the right, you see the church? I'm sorry. All the way right?
Okay, yeah.
Yep, that's St. Louis Cathedral. Everyone had the mass there every morning before they came over here on Sunday. It's a red, you can't see it, it's kind of dark over there, but there's a sign that says Congo Square. Right there, that's where they would gather every morning. That sign I just showed you,
Yeah.
it was right there on the left, Congo.
Okay.
And later on, it became known as Louis Armstrong Park because Louis Armstrong is the bachelor of jazz.
Oh, yeah.
That's the birthplace of jazz, and he the ambassador. So, turn around. Now, so it's been demonized over the years. Now, the Africans that brought that to New Orleans, wasn't nothing evil about it, like Jay was telling you. But they believe that the core of voodoo, they believe that when one of your loved one died, they believe the body dies.
Mm-hmm.
They believe the spirit live on.
That's right.
And they regularly commune with that spirit because they believe that spirit is no longer trapped or encased in a body like we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that spirit don't have the same limitations as we do. It don't know time, space, gravity. It move at a different frequency. So that's why they regularly commune with the spirit, because it can assist the living. And that's what they believe. That's the core of their belief. Everything else about the wicked and that was later on, because they used it to fight. They used it for weapons back then.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have guns, so they used their spiritual practice to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it became known as evil.
Mm-hmm.